Maria Thompson was born in a small town in rural Texas called Pleasantville. She grew up on a modest farm, the daughter of farmer parents, where she learned the value of hard work and perseverance from an early age. Her childhood was marked by scorching sunny days and starry nights, where the smell of fresh hay and the sound of crickets created a bucolic and peaceful setting. Maria, the youngest of 5 siblings, was a curious and determined girl, always willing to help her parents with the farm chores. During her teenage years, Maria attended the town's only school, standing out for her intelligence and kindness. It was there that she met James, a charismatic and hard-working young man who dreamed of becoming a mechanic. James was the son of a local blacksmith and shared Maria's love for the simple life of the countryside. They quickly grew close and soon started dating. The years passed and their love grew strong and deep, culminating in a wedding celebrated with joy by the entire community. Maria and James moved into a small house in Pleasantville, where they built a life together. They had 4 children: John, the eldest, serious and responsible; Emily, the intelligent and dreamy; Luke, the adventurous and irreverent; and Sarah, the youngest, sweet and sensitive. James worked as a mechanic at the local shop, while Maria took care of the house and children, selling cakes and sweets she made to help with the expenses. Tragedy struck the family when James died unexpectedly in a work accident. The loss was devastating, but Maria did not let it break her. Determined to keep her family together and provide for her children, she continued to work tirelessly, facing challenges with courage and resilience. Every morning before dawn, Maria would walk to the Pleasantville market, carrying her baskets of cakes and sweets. One such morning began like any other, but it was about to change her life forever. As she walked through the still, sleepy streets, Maria heard a faint, almost imperceptible cry coming from a dark alley. Her heart raced, and without thinking twice she followed the sound. Approaching, she found an abandoned baby, wrapped in an old blanket, crying desperately. The child's large, frightened eyes met Maria's, and she felt a tightness in her chest and an immediate connection. She knelt and picked up the baby in her arms, feeling the small, warm body. "Who would leave a baby like this?" Maria murmured, tears in her eyes. Without hesitation, she decided to take the baby home. Upon arriving, she was met with looks of surprise and skepticism from her children. John, always practical, was the first to speak. "Mom, what is this? Who is this child? I found him abandoned in the street. I couldn't leave him there. We'll call him Michael and he will stay with us." Emily, with her compassionate spirit, quickly approached to look at the baby more closely. "He's so small, Mom. How could someone do this?" she said, gently touching Michael's hand. Luke and Sarah, still shocked, remained silent. Maria's decision was not easy for everyone to accept. The neighborhood voices echoed doubts and criticisms, but Maria stood firm. She took Michael to the hospital to make sure he was healthy. As days passed, the baby began to adjust to his new home, and Maria's children, although initially reluctant, started to open their hearts. Michael brought a new energy to the house. His childish laughter lit up the darkest corners of the small home, and gradually he became an integral part of the family. The financial difficulties Maria already faced increased with another mouth to feed, but she did not let it break her. She worked twice as hard, dividing her time between the market and caring for Michael. Each night as she put Michael to sleep, Maria whispered stories of courage and love, promising herself that she would do everything to protect him and ensure a better future. The bond between the two grew stronger each day, and despite the challenges, Maria found strength in Michael's smile, and so in a simple but love-filled home began the journey of a woman who, with a generous heart, chose to transform the life of an abandoned baby. And without knowing it, she was planting the seeds for a surprising turn of events that would occur 30 years later. Michael grew up amid the unconditional love of Maria and the protective looks of his siblings. Despite the financial difficulties, the Thompson household was a haven of affection and mutual support. Maria never let her children lack anything, even if it meant sacrificing her own needs. As the years passed, Michael excelled in his studies, known for his intelligence and dedication. He was a brilliant student, always eager to learn more. Maria watched Michael grow with pride and emotion, seeing in him a determination that reflected her own. Meanwhile, John, Emily, Luke, and Sarah followed their own paths. John, after finishing high school, decided to enlist in the army, leaving a void in the house. Emily, always a dreamer, was accepted into a university in another city where she could explore her love for literature. Luke, with his adventurous spirit, found a job as a tour guide in a national park, while Sarah, the youngest, still attended school but showed signs of wanting to pursue an artistic career. Over time, the Thompson household became emptier. Maria missed the constant presence of her children, but knew they were following their own paths. Michael, on the other hand, stayed by Maria's side, helping with household chores and working small jobs to supplement the family income. Maria aged and began to face health problems. Michael, now a young adult, worried more and more about his adoptive mother's well-being. He had graduated from high school with honors and was accepted into a prestigious university where he studied engineering. Even so, he made sure to be there for Maria. Maria's biological children, although they loved her, began to show a more distant relationship. They were busy with their own lives, careers, and families. Visits to their mother became less frequent, and often, Michael was the only one caring for her. One day, while reviewing his notes at the kitchen table, Michael noticed that Maria was more tired than usual. Her hands trembled slightly as she served dinner, and he couldn't help but notice the pained expression on her face. "Mom, are you okay?" Michael asked, concerned. Maria forced a smile, trying to hide the discomfort. "I'm fine, my dear. Just a little tired, nothing to worry about." But Michael knew something was wrong. He decided it was time to take Maria to the doctor, even against her will. After exams and consultations, they discovered that Maria needed constant medical care. With her biological children increasingly distant and concerned with their own responsibilities, the decision to place Maria in a nursing home was made. Michael resisted, arguing that he could take care of her, but the decision was unanimous among the siblings. Maria needed specialized care that they, unfortunately, could not provide. The separation was painful. Michael felt a mix of anger and helplessness as he saw his adoptive mother being taken to the nursing home. He promised himself that he would do everything to get her out of there as soon as possible. Michael focused even more on his studies and work. He graduated with honors in engineering and got a job at a renowned technology company. His professional success was meteoric, and he quickly rose in his career. All the while, he kept in his heart the promise he had made to himself. With his first significant promotion, Michael rented a spacious and comfortable apartment, carefully preparing it to welcome Maria. On the day he finally went to fetch her from the nursing home, emotions were running high. Entering the nursing home, he saw Maria sitting in a wheelchair looking out the window with a distant look. When she saw him, her eyes lit up with a mix of surprise and happiness. "Michael!" Maria exclaimed, tears in her eyes. "What are you doing here?" "I came to take you home, Mom." "You'll live with me now," Michael replied with a determined smile. Michael's words filled Maria's heart with joy. After feeling lonely and forgotten for so long, she was finally returning home, into the arms of the one she had welcomed and loved as a son. And so Michael took Maria to their new home, a place where she would be cared for and loved, where she could live her final years in peace and happiness. The decision to adopt Michael made so many years ago now proved to be the greatest blessing of her life. The bond between mother and son, forged in love and sacrifice, proved to be unbreakable. And unknowingly, both their lives were about to undergo a new and exciting twist. Michael carefully arranged Maria's room, ensuring she had everything she needed to feel comfortable. The house, now filled with laughter and conversation, had an air of renewal and hope. Despite her frail health, Maria thrived with Michael's attention and care. The days were filled with tranquility and a loving routine that strongly contrasted with the lonely days in the nursing home. However, life was not without its challenges. Maria's biological children, though initially relieved by Michael's decision, began to feel the weight of guilt and the emotional distance they had created. John, now an Army veteran, reflected on his absence and the distance he had placed between himself and his family. Emily, busy with her academic career, felt a growing unease about her lack of involvement. Luke, lost in his adventures, began to question the choices he had made. Thansara, always sensitive, was deeply affected by the situation. One afternoon, while Michael was at work, Maria received an unexpected visit. It was John, dressed in his military uniform, looking tired and carrying an expression of regret. "Mom, can we talk?" he asked hesitantly. Maria, surprised and emotional, nodded, inviting him in. "Of course, John, sit down." John took a deep breath, struggling to find the right words. "I'm sorry, Mom. I'm sorry for leaving you in that home. I'm sorry for not being here," he said, his voice breaking. Maria held John's hand, her eyes full of compassion. "John, you will always be my son. What matters is that you are here now." As the days passed, other children began to show up. Emily arrived with flowers and books, trying to make up for her absence with small gestures of affection. Luke returned from his adventures, bringing stories and promises to be more present. And Sarah, with tears in her eyes, vowed never to abandon her mother again. Despite the attempts at reconciliation, there was a palpable tension between Michael and his siblings. They felt a mixture of gratitude and jealousy for Michael's closeness to Maria, while Michael struggled with feelings of protection and distrust. One evening, the tension reached its peak. During a family dinner, repressed emotions finally erupted. "Do you think you're the only one who cares about our mother?" John said, raising his voice. "We love her too, Michael." "Michael, keep him calm," replied firmly. "This is not a competition, John. We all want what's best for her." "But where were you when she needed you the most?" Emily, trying to mediate, intervened. "Please, let's try to understand each other. We've all made mistakes, but we're here now." Maria, sitting at the head of the table, watched the argument with sadness. She knew this reconciliation was necessary but painful. "Stop," she said softly but firmly. "We've all made mistakes. What matters is that we're together now. Let's leave the past behind and focus on the present." Maria's words had a calming effect. The siblings looked at each other, ashamed and emotional. John was the first to stand up, walking over to Michael and extending his hand. "I'm sorry, Michael. Let's do this together." Michael shook John's hand, feeling a weight lift. "I apologize too. Let's take care of our mother together." From that moment on, the family's dynamics began to change. The siblings started taking turns caring for Maria, sharing responsibilities and strengthening the bonds that had been weakened by time and distance. Michael, though still central to Maria's life, began to trust his siblings more, allowing himself moments of rest as well. Maria, watching her children working together, felt a peace she hadn't felt in a long time. She knew that despite the challenges, her family was finally united again. And with the love and support of all, she could face whatever the future held. The Thompson household, once filled with painful silences, now resonated with laughter, conversations, and the comforting sound of a family that had rediscovered the true meaning of being together. As the months passed, the Thompson family's new routine began to settle. Michael continued to thrive at work, often bringing home good news of promotions and advancements. The siblings, now more present, took turns caring for Maria, ensuring she never felt alone or neglected again. One day, while Maria and Michael were in the living room, a large official envelope arrived in the mail. Michael opened it, and his eyes widened as he read the contents. "Mum, I've been promoted to Director of Engineering," he announced, his eyes shining, "and more, they want me to work at the headquarters in New York." Maria smiled, proud and emotional. "That's wonderful, Michael," she said, holding his hands. "You've worked so hard for this, but what does it mean for us?" Michael hesitated for a moment. "It means we need to move, Mum, but don't worry, I'll make sure you have all the care you need. New York has excellent doctors and caregivers." Maria agreed, fully trusting Michael's judgment. She knew that wherever they went, he would always be by her side. The news of the movie brought a wave of emotions to the family. John, Emily, Luke and Sarah gathered to discuss the future and how they could continue to support Maria and Michael. "It's a great opportunity for Michael and he deserves it," John said approvingly, "but we also need to ensure our mother is well cared for." "I agree, we can visit frequently and maybe even consider moving too if necessary," suggested Emily. With the unanimous support of the siblings, Michael began to plan the move. Within a few months he and Maria were on their way to New York, leaving behind the small town of Pleasantville, but carrying with them the love and memories of a well-lived life. New York was a vibrant city full of opportunities. Michael quickly adapted to his new job, diving into challenges and enjoying every moment of his new position. Maria, for her part, marveled at the city's energy, though she missed the tranquility of her old home. Michael hired a team of caregivers to ensure Maria had all the comfort and attention she needed. Additionally, the siblings visited regularly, always bringing a piece of Pleasantville with them, whether through stories, photos, or simple conversations that warmed Maria's heart. One day, while Michael was at work, Maria received an unexpected visit. It was a tall, distinguished-looking man who introduced himself as a lawyer. "Mrs. Thompson, my name is Robert Jenkins. I am here on behalf of an anonymous client who wishes to express their gratitude for something you did many years ago." Maria frowned, confused. "I'm sorry, Mr. Jenkins, but I don't know what you're talking about." The lawyer smiled gently and handed her an envelope. "Please read this." Maria opened the envelope and found a handwritten letter. As she read, tears began to stream down her face. "Dear Maria, 30 years ago you found an abandoned baby and took him into your home. You raised him with love and dedication, giving him a life he would never have had otherwise. I am that baby. Today I am a successful, happy and grateful man for everything you did for me. I cannot reveal my identity for personal reasons, but I wanted you to know that your kindness changed my life forever. As a token of gratitude, I have asked Mr. Jenkins to give you this gift. With eternal gratitude, your adopted son, whom you never knew you had." Inside the envelope was a key and an address. The lawyer explained that it was the key to a house in the city, bought and prepared especially for Maria. Michael arrived home shortly after, finding Maria in tears. Worried, he ran to her. "Mom, what's wrong?" Maria, still emotional, handed the letter to Michael. He read it silently, feeling a mix of surprise and admiration for the story unfolding before his eyes. "I can't believe it," Michael said, incredulous. "This is incredible, Mom. We need to see this house." The next day, Michael and Maria went to the address indicated. The house was beautiful, located in a quiet neighborhood of New York, with a flowered garden and a cozy porch. Upon entering, they saw it was fully furnished and equipped with everything Maria might need. Maria, tears in her eyes, looked around, feeling a wave of gratitude and joy. "I never imagined something like this could happen," she said, squeezing Michael's hand. "You deserve it, Mom," Michael replied, emotional. "All of this is a result of your love and sacrifice." The turn of events in Maria and Michael's life not only brought comfort and security, but also reinforced the power of love and kindness. They knew that, despite the challenges they faced, the future was full of hope and new possibilities. As they looked at the new house, Maria and Michael felt that they had finally found a new home, a place where they could continue to build their lives together, surrounded by the love and gratitude that united their stories. The days in the new house brought a fresh breath of life to Maria. She enjoyed the flowered garden, spent hours on the porch reading books Michael brought her, and above all felt at peace. Michael, for his part, was more determined than ever to ensure his mother had all the comfort and care she deserved. One day, while Michael was at work, Maria received another unexpected letter. This time, it was an invitation to a charity event organized by the company where Michael worked. The letter was personal and warm, written by the CEO himself, expressing gratitude for the sacrifices and support Maria had given Michael. He mentioned that the story of Michael and Maria had inspired many people in the company, and that they would like to honor her with a special award. When Michael came home and learned about the invitation, he was surprised and emotional. "Mom, this is amazing. You deserve all the recognition in the world," he said, hugging her. On the night of the event, Michael helped Maria get ready, choosing an elegant dress and ensuring she felt as special as possible. When they arrived at the event venue, they were greeted with applause and warm smiles. The room was decorated with flowers and soft lights, creating a welcoming and festive atmosphere. The CEO took the stage and began his speech, telling everyone the inspiring story of Maria and Michael. He highlighted the strength, resilience, and unconditional love Maria had shown over the years. "Today we celebrate not only Michael's professional success, but also the generous heart of his mother, Maria. She has shown us that true success in life is measured by love and dedication to others," said the CEO as the audience applauded. Michael helped Maria onto the stage, where she received a golden trophy and a bouquet of flowers. With tears in her eyes, Maria gave a brief thank you speech, her voice trembling with emotion. I never imagined that my simple life and acts of love could bring so much recognition. All I did was follow my heart and care for those I love. I am deeply touched by this honor and grateful to all of you," she said, as the audience gave a standing ovation. After the event, Michael and Maria returned home feeling closer than ever. The celebration reinforced their special bond, reminding them that despite the difficulties they had faced, love would always prevail. As time went by, Michael's siblings also became closer. They took turns visiting Maria and helping in any way necessary, strengthening family ties. John, Emily, Luke and Sarah realized the importance of being present and valued every moment with their mother. During one of these visits, while everyone was gathered in the garden, Michael made a surprise announcement. "I have important news to share," he said, smiling. "With the help of the company, I managed to buy a bigger house where we can all live together if you want. It will be our new home, where we can take care of Mum and be closer to each other." Maria's eyes filled with tears of joy. The siblings looked at each other, surprised and touched by Michael's generosity. "That would be amazing, Michael," said Emily, hugging him. "It would be wonderful to be together again." Moving to the new house was a fresh start for the Thompson family. They decorated the new home with old photos, cherished memories and new dreams. Maria, surrounded by the love of her children, thrived even more, feeling blessed and grateful for every moment. The days were filled with laughter, conversations and the certainty that, despite the ups and downs they would always have each other, Michael continued to excel in his career, while the siblings found new ways to contribute and support the family. One peaceful evening, while everyone was gathered in the living room, Maria looked around and smiled, her heart full of peace. "I couldn't ask for anything more," she said softly. "Having all of you here together is the greatest gift life could give me." Michael held Maria's hand, looking into her eyes with deep gratitude. "Everything we are, Mum, is thanks to you, and we promise to take care of you and each other always." Suddenly the sound of the phone interrupted the moment. Michael got up to answer, while the others watched with curiosity. Michael's face turned pale and his expression changed drastically. "What's wrong, Michael?" John asked, concerned. Michael slowly hung up the phone, looking shaken. "It was the hospital," he said, his voice trembling. "They found something in Mum's routine exams. We need to take her there immediately." The joyful atmosphere turned to apprehension. Maria, trying to stay calm, held Michael's hand. "What's happening, son?" Michael took a deep breath, trying to control his anxiety. "They found something in your heart, Mum. We need to do more tests. They said it could be serious." The news hit like a bomb, leaving everyone in shock. They hurried to the hospital, each dealing with fear and uncertainty in their way. Maria, though visibly scared, stayed strong, trusting in the love and support of her family. At the hospital, the doctors explained that Maria needed urgent heart surgery. The procedure was risky, but necessary to save her life. While Maria was being prepared for surgery, Michael and his siblings anxiously waited in the waiting room, each struggling with their own emotions. "She's strong. She'll get through this," Emily said, trying to comfort herself and the others. The hours passed slowly, each minute feeling like an eternity. Finally, the surgeon appeared with a serious expression on his face. "The surgery was a success, but Maria will need time to recover. She is a strong woman, but she will need all the support you can give." The siblings sighed in relief, but knew that the road ahead was still uncertain. They returned to Maria's room, finding her weak but conscious. "You were here," she murmured with a weak smile. "Always, Mum," Michael replied, holding her hand. The following days were filled with intensive care and renewed hopes. With each visit to the hospital, the siblings took turns bringing flowers, telling stories, and doing everything they could to keep Maria's spirits high. Despite her frailty, she always tried to smile and show strength for her children. However, the unexpected happened. One night, while Michael was by her bedside, Maria began to feel a sharp pain in her chest. Michael immediately called the doctors, but despite all efforts, Maria did not survive. The news of Maria's death devastated the family. Michael, Emily, John, Luke, and Sarah were desolate, feeling a profound emptiness at the loss of their mother. The funeral was a simple but love-filled ceremony, where each child could express their memories and gratitude for all that Maria had done for them. Michael, with tears in his eyes, gave an emotional speech. Our mother was the strongest and most loving woman we knew. She taught us the true meaning of unconditional love and resilience. We will miss her every day, but her legacy will live on in our hearts forever. After the funeral, the siblings gathered in the new house Michael had bought, feeling Maria's presence in every corner. They decided to honor her memory by staying together, supporting each other. If you were intrigued by this exciting and twist-filled story, don't forget to like the video and subscribe to our channel.